Am I the a-hole for rejecting my mom and refusing to forgive her and telling her she chose to be there for her affair partner's kids over her own, so she needs to deal with it now? I'm pretty frustrated right now, but I want to know if people think I'm being unfair. 2 years ago, my dad, my brother, 13 male, and I, 16 male, found out mom was having an affair. It shouldn't have surprised any of us. For over 2 years, she was always busy and let us down so many times. She used to be so involved, but she stopped showing up and supporting me when I was competing in swimming, and she stopped asking about it. She flaked on me every time I wanted to do our record store browse, which we'd done since I was 5, and she never said no before. She dropped the cooking classes she did with my brother and didn't show up for his talent shows. He's a musician. I have asthma, and she stopped answering calls from the school nurse to pick me up. My dad had to leave work a bunch of times, and it ticked him off because mom was a stay-at-home mom, and I was one of her reasons. But she didn't even take that seriously. It turned out when she was busy doing stuff, it meant she was busy cheating or playing mom to the guy's 2 kids. She was bonding with them and filling in for the mom they didn't have. She put them before her own kids, not just the guy she cheated with, but those kids too. The whole thing makes me so angry. When we found out, I thought she was disgusting for all of it. She didn't just cheat on dad, but she was picking the guy's kids over her own. She prioritized her affair and the children the affair partner had. Mom denied that she did that and told me and my brother she hadn't cheated on us. She told us we shouldn't hate her or pull away from her because the adult business, meaning her marriage, wasn't our business. When my parents first started their divorce, we were ordered by a judge to stay with mom 50% of the time. I hated it. She tried to integrate us with the guy and his kids, but I made it clear I'd never accept them. Mom asked us to give them a chance and forced us all to hang out like we were some kind of family, which is a freaking joke. By the time the divorce was over, the judge said I didn't need to see her that much, and I only had to go 1 weekend a month. And as of last month, the judge said I still need to go once a month, and being 16 doesn't mean I get to stop going like I want. For the past year, my mom has started to realize how much I hate her now and tries to reach out and fix it. I reject her every time and have called her names and told her to stay away from me. I told her she's gross and I want nothing to do with her. Her affair partner, who she's now married to, tried to berate me for talking to her like that, and I told him he's nothing to me, so why would I care about his opinion? He wants me and my brother to never go to the house because we make his kids feel bad by refusing to spend time with them and avoiding them. So mom tried to talk to me and begged me to forgive her. She told me she'd do anything. I told her it'll never happen. I said she chose another person's kids over us, and we remembered that. I told her she was with those random children when I needed her. She left me in school with breathing issues, so she could play mommy to another man's kids. I told her she freaking destroyed our family, broke dad's heart, and failed as a mother when she was screwing around. And she needed to accept that her choices cost her us. Mom said she wanted to make it up to us, and I said unless she took it all back and didn't put those kids first, then she couldn't. She broke down and told me I wasn't being fair, and that she was a good mother for a lot longer than she was a slightly absent one. The topic came up in therapy, and my therapist pushed me to forgive and reconcile with my mom. I don't really like her because she's really pushy about that stuff, and has spent all the time we've been in these sessions telling me I only have one mom and to remember the good. Dad wanted me to change therapists, but mom blocked it because she's hoping this lady will make me have a change of heart. But the therapist is really pressing it, and I know she's a professional. I just don't want the stuff she mentions about having a family and accepting mom for who she is and all that crap. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Some advice from an older guy with friends who had negative experiences with parents. Find a way to forgive her one day. You need to know how rare it is that your mom wants to fix it now while you're young, and she still has time left. I have seen parents who wait 20 to 30 years before wanting to reconcile. They are too proud to acknowledge their mistakes. Some friends had their parents die after years of not speaking. It sucks hard for them. Again, this would be different if she didn't want it, but she does. You don't have to make it easy on her. Things don't have to ever get back to normal. But you can let her show you she is sorry and cares now, and things can get better as a result, so that you can have something still between you two, which is better than nothing. Work to figure out what that path looks like for you two, how she can build something new with you, and what that will look like. You don't want regret later. There is no future for the two of us, not to me. I want nothing to do with her. She didn't care if I lived or died when she ignored those calls. That's not the kind of mom who deserves another chance, in my opinion. She can't make me forget that. I could have died, and if I had, I hope she would have been haunted by it for the rest of her life and never had another happy day. I'd want her to carry that guilt with her. She knew how serious it had to be for the school to call, and it wasn't just once. Not the a-hole. She shouldn't be making you feel bad for her mistakes, and you shouldn't adjust just because she wants to play mom with her new family. Ignore your therapist, OP. Forgive when you are mentally ready for it, and never, never forget. Find a therapist who helps you deal with your issues, not your mother's problems and regrets. Screw that therapist. Your mom blocked the change? Then don't engage with this lady. Ignore her. If this therapist is really pressing you to do something, then she is not professional. Stop calling her that. Document all her pressure, make annotations of what she says, and let her know what you are doing. Give it to your dad, and he can go to the judge and ask for the change. She cannot force you to do anything. Keep talking to your dad about it. Tell the judge you are capable of forgiving, but at your own pace, not under pressure from your therapist and your mom. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my father walk me down the aisle because of his infidelity? When I, 26 female, was 16, my older brother and I found out our dad had been cheating on our mom with her very close friend. We also found out that it had been going on for years. He gaslighted us about it for a bit, but eventually came clean. Of course, this completely devastated everyone, especially considering at that point, my parents had been married for over 15 years. In the end, they decided to work through it. They went to therapy, she forgave him, and they stayed together. However, this completely ruined my relationship with him. Up until that point, I thought my dad was the greatest man in the world. He really was my best friend, but after finding out about the affair, I wanted as little to do with him as possible. I moved out at 18, but leading up to that, I avoided him as much as I could. That worked for a while. Now it's been over 10 years since it happened, and it's starting to create bigger issues in my family. I'm getting married next year to an incredible man, and I'm very excited about it, but my family is upset about me asking my brother to walk me down the aisle instead of asking my father to do it. My mom said he's really hurt by it, which I completely understand and sympathize with, but my father and I haven't been close since his affair. My brother and I became even closer after it, and he was truly my rock during that time, so I want him included in the ceremony. Some of my family members are refusing to come because of this, calling me bitter, tasteless, etc., which is starting to get to me. I invited him to the wedding. He's more than welcome to come. I just do not want him to walk me down the aisle. I understand people can change, and from what I hear from everyone, my dad did. I think that's amazing, and I have no issue with everyone forgiving him. But I just can't. He lied to all of us for years, pretending to be this great man, but was cheating on my mom with someone who was like a second mom to us. And I don't want to be associated with someone like that, family or not. Am I the a-hole for taking this moment away from my dad? People who cheat while having a family often forget that their cheating affects their entire family. He didn't just step out on your mom, he stepped out on you too. Instead of fostering a lovely home life, spending more time with his wife and kids, he chose to create a life, albeit temporarily, with someone else. He chose someone else over his wife and his kids. Your mother may have forgiven him for nearly breaking up the family, but you didn't. And that's fine. You're not her. Somehow in all this nonsense, they managed to teach you to stand firm in your beliefs, morals, values, etc. If they don't like that you have those qualities now, that's entirely on them. They don't get to raise you to be a solid individual and then balk when you act like a solid individual. Their bafflement is crazy to me. How the heck did they assume he'd get this honor when you've not been close in a decade? Did he just bury his head in the sand and assume that since your mother forgave him, everything was totally fine with everyone else? Did he forget you're your own person and not just an extension of your parents? Either way, though, you not meeting his expectations for your own life is his burden to bear. You're not gonna sacrifice a damn thing for a man that tried to ruin your family. If he has negative feelings about this, he needs to deal with them like an adult, not force the people around him to protect his fifis. Your mom may have signed up for a life of catering to his desires, but you sure as heck did not. Some of my family members are refusing to come because of this. Shrug it off. These people weren't worth it in the first place. Use the money you'd have spent feeding them and give yourself some extra play money for your honeymoon. Calling me bitter, tasteless, etc. Shrug it off. Tell them that if they think so poorly of you and the sanctity of marriage, they're more than welcome to. You just don't have to listen to it. Oh look, you're busy planning your wedding. Not the a-hole. It sounds like OP's dad never acknowledged the pain his affair caused his kids, let alone made any effort to try to make up for it, regain their trust, or repair the relationship in any way. He was the adult, the parent, and the one in the wrong. The onus was on him. And he did nothing. It's genuinely bizarre that he feels entitled to walk OP down the aisle. Resounding not the a-hole. Thank you. I was in a similar situation due to my father's infidelity, and I never saw him in the same way, but he expected everybody to just snap back to normal as if it was fine. He certainly didn't acknowledge the pain that was caused. He simply told us, "We get over it in time." I explained to a friend of mine at the time that it was like his affair was a meteor strike on top of us, and all of a sudden he's there walking away from the rubble, wondering why we're not picking ourselves up out of the crater faster. Not the a-hole, and do not let what he thinks he deserves take precedence over what you know you and your brother deserve. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not giving my late brother's wife access to money meant for my nephew during an emergency? My brother James was married to Elle for 10 years. They had one living child in that time, my nephew Caden, 16. Elle had 5 miscarriages as well, and that's something I mention because it will come up later. Caden was only 5 when James died. Before he died, James was awarded money for a lapse in medical care, which ultimately cost him his life. James wanted the largest part to go to Caden, and when he was sorting his estate and final wishes, he asked if I would become the caretaker of the money. He had it in a bank account, but wanted to be 100% certain it would go to Caden alone. He said it wasn't about Elle or how much he trusted her, but that she would remarry and he had no way of knowing if the man who came into their lives could be trusted. And since he wouldn't get to see Caden grow up, he wanted to secure some stability for Caden's future. I agreed, and when he died, he left me in charge of the bank account with the money. It wasn't put into a trust or anything like that, but only I have access to it. Elle was understanding of everything at the time, and we remained on good terms for a couple of years, but then things soured a little. It was unrelated to the money, but she had started dating someone, and when I met him, I felt something was off about him. She saw it as me not wanting her to move on. But they broke up, and it turned out I was right. However, the damage to the relationship was done. We were civil for Caden's sake after that. Elle did remarry a few years ago. Her husband has children of his own, and this is where the point of the post comes in. One of Ellie's stepchildren was involved in a near-fatal accident in December while with her maternal grandparents. Elle and her husband were trying to get to her because she was out of the country, and Elle contacted me to say she needed some of Caden's money so they could go there. She told me she wasn't sure how much in total she'd need by the time everything was sorted, but she knew there would be enough to cover everything and still leave Caden with money. I told her the money was for Caden and Caden alone, and I wasn't giving her any of it. That I was sorry for what they were going through, but the money needed to come from somewhere else. I spoke to Caden the same day, and he asked me not to give any of the money up if asked again. He said he knew his mom was going to keep asking if they didn't get money from anywhere else. I promised Caden I'd keep the money safe. I was asked again a number of times. Eventually, the money did come from somewhere else, but Elle and her husband ended up taking on debt because of her stepdaughter's accident. And Elle is angry that I was sitting on a large sum of money for Caden and wouldn't let her use any of it for a real emergency. She said it was the wrong decision and totally callous. Am I the a-hole? Edit to add, I forgot to add where the miscarriages would come in. But Elle has mentioned losing 5 children to me in an attempt to guilt-trip me for not giving her access to the money. She has pointed out she lost her husband, she lost 5 children, and in an emergency where her stepchild could have died, I refused to give her even a small portion of the money. Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. This what was your brother anticipated and it came to pass. And Caden himself doesn't consent to it, so not the a-hole at all. It's definitely crucial to honor your brother's wishes and Caden's needs above all. 100%. What your brother was afraid would happen, happened, and this is why you are in charge of the money and not her. While you can sympathize with what they are going through, that still doesn't make it your responsibility or your nephew's. And even Caden, who is damn near an adult himself, said no. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. I do think it's quite interesting that Caden also didn't want the money to be used for that. No hesitation. He's right in the thick of it, so sees a lot more than you do. It may be time for a private chat with him. Make sure things are okay at home, how he's treated, etc. You could use his future plans regarding education, training, etc. as an excuse. And if his mom tries to tag along again, it will again show she sees the money as hers, when his future is his decision. Caden isn't that close with his mother's husband or the husband's children. He's not treated poorly, but there's a big age gap, and just not a lot of connection on his part. That's why he was so certain. Not the a-hole. You did the right thing, and I'm saying this from personal experience. I was in Caden's shoes. My father died and left me with a sum of money. Somehow, my mom got access to it and almost completely screwed me over. I spent most of the money cleaning up the mess my mother made, as well as trying to help my stepmother keep a roof over my siblings' heads, protect his future, no matter what's going on. That money is from his father, for him, to help build a stable life, not to bail other people out even in emergencies. They'll just have to figure out their own problems, just like they would have if he hadn't left anything. Don't let anyone else change your mind about that. I'm so sorry your mom did that to you. Whenever anyone gets screwed over by a parent, I think it's disgusting, but especially when it's the money a late parent left their child to secure their future. I'm working on healing and forgiving her, but please just protect Caden and his future. I wish somebody had been in a position to do that for me. The best thing you can do for him is to make sure he understands that he doesn't owe anybody anything just because he has this money. It's his and his alone. How he decides to use it, hopefully responsibly, is his choice alone. Don't let other people guilt-trip him into giving them money or buying them things.